Imagine being asked to erase your own identity, to become a stranger to your own child. For one mother, this wasn't a hypothetical question. It was a heartbreaking reality. She was offered a job, a very well-paying one, with a single, devastating condition. She had to pretend she wasn't his mother. What could possibly lead a woman to accept such an offer? And how does a child grow up with his own mother standing right in front of him, yet a world away? This is a story about a mother's silent sacrifice, a son's hidden truth, and a love so powerful it defied the very contract designed to suppress it. Stay with me as we uncover the story of Maryam and her son, Ion, a tale that will make you question the true cost of sacrifice and the unbreakable bonds of family. Let's meet Maryam. Life had dealt her a tough hand. A single mother, she found herself in a precarious financial situation after her husband's sudden passing. The weight of mounting debts and the responsibility of providing for her young son, Ion, felt like an anchor dragging her down. Maryam was a woman of immense pride and even greater love for her son. She worked multiple odd jobs, from cleaning offices late at night to serving tables during the day, just to ensure Ion had food on the table and a roof over his head. But it was never enough. The bills kept piling up, and the fear of losing their small apartment was a constant, gnawing presence. She was exhausted, not just physically, but emotionally. Every night, she'd look at her sleeping son, his innocent face free from the worries that plagued her, and her heart would ache. She would do anything for him, absolutely anything. It was this desperation, this all-consuming maternal instinct to protect her child at any cost, that led her to a place she never imagined she'd be. She began searching for better opportunities, anything that could offer them stability. Little did she know, the opportunity that would present itself would ask for a price far greater than any amount of money. And then there was Ion, a bright, sensitive boy with a curious mind and a gentle heart. Even at a young age, he was perceptive. He noticed the worry lines on his mother's forehead, even when she tried to hide them with a smile. He saw how tired she was, how she'd sometimes skip meals so he could have a little extra. Ion adored his mother. To him, Maryam was his entire world. They had a special bond, forged in the quiet moments of their simple life. They would read stories together, build forts out of blankets, and share secrets whispered in the dark. Ion's biggest dream was to grow up and take care of his mom, to buy her a big house where she would never have to worry again. He was a good student, always eager to learn, and he knew that making his mother proud was the best gift he could give her. But as the financial strain on Maryam grew, a subtle shadow began to fall over their lives. The laughter wasn't as frequent, and the playful moments became fewer and farther between. Ion, with a child's intuition, sensed that something was changing, but he couldn't possibly have imagined the storm that was about to hit their lives. The day the offer came, it felt like a cruel joke. Maryam had been connected to Ion's estranged, wealthy paternal grandparents. They had never approved of the marriage, and had cut ties long ago. Now, with their son gone, they wanted a connection to their only grandchild. But they had conditions. They offered to take Ion in, provide him with the best education, a life of privilege, and secure his future in a way Maryam never could. They would clear all her debts and give her a substantial sum of money. The catch, the world, and most importantly Ion, could never know she was his mother. She would be hired as his live-in governess, a caretaker, a paid employee. They argued it was for his own good, to avoid the stigma of his humble origins as he entered their high society world. The request was a dagger to Maryam's heart. They were asking her to sell her motherhood, to stand by and watch another woman be called mom by her son, to be a ghost in her own child's life. The pain was unbearable, a physical ache that left her breathless. How could she possibly agree? But then she looked at the eviction notice on her table. She thought of Ion's worn-out shoes. She pictured the future they offered him, a future of opportunity, security, and promise. A future she, with all the love in the world, could not provide. With tears streaming down her face, she made the most selfless and agonizing decision of her life. And so began the silence contract. Maryam packed their few belongings and moved into the grand mansion that was now Ion's home. The day they arrived, she knelt down, looked her son in the eyes for the last time as Juck's mom, and told him a carefully constructed story. She explained that she had a new job here, and that his grandparents would be taking care of him now. Ion, confused and scared, clung to her. He didn't understand why she couldn't just be his mom anymore. Miriam, her heart shattering into a million pieces, had to gently untangle his arms and introduce herself, for the first time, as Miss Miriam, his governess. The rules were strict. No terms of endearment. No physical affection beyond what was appropriate for a caretaker. She was to maintain a professional distance at all times. In the eyes of the world, she was just an employee. Every Miss Miriam that left her lips felt like a betrayal. Every time she had to stop herself from instinctively reaching out to hug him, it was a fresh wave of grief. She was a constant presence in his life, yet she had never felt more absent. Despite the cold, formal rules, a mother's love cannot be legislated. Miriam found ways to love him in the small moments. She was the one who knew just how he liked his sandwiches cut. She was the one who could tell by the droop of his shoulders that he'd had a tough day at his new, fancy school. She couldn't hug him goodnight, but she could make sure his favorite blanket was tucked just right. She couldn't say I love you, but she could leave a little note of encouragement in his lunchbox, signed simply, from M. These were the secret codes of their relationship. Ion, in turn, found himself drawn to his governess more than anyone else in the Stero grand house. He'd seek her out, to tell her about his day, to show her a drawing, or to ask for help with his homework. There was a warmth and familiarity about Miss Miriam that he couldn't find anywhere else. To his grandparents, it was a sign of a good employee, but to Miriam and Ion, it was the stubborn, resilient thread of their bond, refusing to be broken. Years. Yes, Ion grew from a small boy into a thoughtful young man, excelling in his studies and making his family proud. Miriam watched from the sidelines, her heart swelling with a pride she could never voice. One day, the school announced a special ceremony. They were honoring students who had achieved exceptional academic distinction, and at the top of that list was Ion. He was set to receive the school's highest academic award. The announcement sent a buzz through the household. His grandparents were ecstatic, planning a large celebration. They saw it as a testament to their influence and the opportunities they had provided. Miriam felt a quiet, profound joy. Every late night she had spent helping him study, every word of encouragement she had whispered, had led to this moment. She knew she was expected to attend the ceremony, but as always in the background, a face in the crowd. She prepared his suit for the big day, her hands lingering on the fabric, her mind filled with a decade of unspoken love and pride. The day of the ceremony arrived. The auditorium was packed with proud parents and family members. Miriam found a seat in the very back, a solitary figure in a sea of celebration. She watched as Ion, looking so grown-up and confident, walked onto the stage. When his name was called for the top award, the applause was thunderous. His grandparents, sitting in the front row, beamed. Ion accepted the award, walked to the podium to give his acceptance speech, and the room fell silent. He thanked his teachers and the school. He thanked his grandparents for the opportunities they had given him. He paused, and his eyes scanned the crowd. He looked past the front rows, past the middle section, all the way to the back, until his eyes locked with Miriam. Then he did something no one expected. "But the person I need to thank the most," he said, his voice clear and strong, "isn't sitting in the front row. She's been with me every single day of my life. She taught me how to read. She held my hand when I was scared. And she's the reason I am standing here today." He looked directly at Miriam. "She was told she had to be my governess, but she has always been my mother. Thank you, Mom." A collective gasp filled the auditorium. He put the award down, walked off the stage, down the aisle, and straight to the back of the room. He walked right up to Miriam, who was frozen in her seat, tears streaming down her face. In front of everyone, he wrapped his arms around her in a hug a decade in the making. "I know," he whispered. "I've always known." The reveal sent shockwaves through their lives. The silence contract was broken in the most public way possible. Ion's grandparents were initially furious and humiliated, but seeing the undeniable, powerful bond between mother and son, something within them shifted. For the first time, they saw not a poor woman, but a mother who had made the ultimate sacrifice for her child's future. They saw a boy who, despite having everything, knew that the one thing he truly needed was his mother's love. The aftermath was a period of slow, careful reconciliation. There were difficult conversations and years of pretense to unpack, but the truth was out, and it was liberating. Ion refused to continue the charade. Mariam was finally able to be what she had always been, his mother, openly and proudly. This story is a powerful reminder that a mother's love is a force that cannot be contained by contracts or circumstances. Mariam's story shows us the incredible depths of sacrifice, while Ion's reminds us that a child's heart always knows the truth. It teaches us that true wealth isn't about money or status, but about the unbreakable bonds we share with the people we love. It's a testament to the fact that love will always find a way. Thank you for watching. If this story moved you, please like, share, and subscribe for more content that touches the heart. See you next time.